The recording was never meant to be found. Buried under layers of corrupted data from an abandoned reconnaissance buoy, it drifted at the edge of Terran Protectorate space for nearly a century. When Commander Rhea Solis first pulled it from the debris net of her patrol cutter, she assumed it was another dead relic from the old wars. She couldn't have been more wrong. The file unlocked itself the moment her ship's AI touched it, as if it had been waiting, watching, and wanting to speak. Static hissed, then the image resolved into a shattered battlefield lit by burning starships. Symbols on the hulls were alien, but the screams were unmistakably human. Rhea felt her blood run cold. The timestamp placed the recording centuries before humanity's first official contact with any alien civilization. That alone was impossible enough. But the next revelation shattered everything humans believed about their own place in the galaxy. A voice spoke over the carnage, calm and cold. "We warned them the humans would resist," the alien commander said. "Their species carries a flaw, an instinct to defy, to adapt, to survive." Rhea replayed the line 5 times, heart pounding harder each time. Someone had known humans long before humans knew them. Someone had fought them, and someone had lost. Her crew gathered around the display as the recording continued, revealing burning cities on alien worlds, not human ones, but alien cities destroyed by human hands. "Impossible," Rhea whispered. Yet the images were clear. Human soldiers in old exosuits marched through the ruins, carrying banners of nations that no longer existed. They weren't conquerors nor invaders. They were survivors fighting back against an enemy far more advanced. But the most terrible revelation came at the end of the recording. The alien commander spoke again, voice trembling for the first time. "If humanity ever remembers what it once was, if they recover the truth of the old war, the galaxy will burn anew." Then the feed cut out, leaving only silence. Rhea stood there, her pulse hammering in her ears. She had uncovered something older than every human history book. Something powerful enough to rewrite everything the Protectorate believed. The truth was simple, terrifying, and undeniable. Humans were not newcomers to the galaxy. They were survivors of a forgotten war. And the enemies they once fought might still be out there, watching, waiting. Rhea made her decision before doubt could take root. She would bring the recording to high command. The truth needed to be known, no matter the consequences. The war recording revealed everything. And now it would reveal even more. The chamber fell silent as the last frame of the recording flickered into darkness. Admiral Verin leaned back slowly, fingers steepled beneath his chin, his expression unreadable. Rhea waited for questions, outrage, disbelief, anything. But the admirals exchanged only grim, knowing looks. "You were not authorized to access Level Omega relics," Admiral Verin finally said. "Level Omega," Rhea whispered. "You mean you already knew?" Verin exhaled, a weary sound. "We knew fragments," he admitted, "nothing this complete." Rhea felt anger rising like fire in her throat. "You hid this from humanity," she snapped. "Humanity was not ready," another admiral said. "The species barely survived the unification wars, and you expect them to handle the knowledge that we once fought an interstellar conflict and nearly won." Rhea clenched her fists. "That's exactly why they need to know." But Verin shook his head. "This recording can't be released." He ordered the file sealed, its existence classified beyond top secret. He ordered Rhea's crew reassigned and separated. And worst of all, he ordered Rhea placed under investigation for data tampering and fabrication. The betrayal cut deeper than any alien blade could. Rhea stared at the room of admirals, realizing too late that the truth had always been a threat. Not to enemies, but to those in power. Because the truth empowered the people and terrified the rulers. But as the guards approached to escort her out, the chamber's lights flickered. A hologram burst to life above the table, unbidden, unauthorized, unstoppable. It was the war recording, playing again, but this time with segments Rhea had never seen. Someone was overriding the system. Someone wanted the truth out. The image shifted to an alien admiral standing over a tactical display. "We underestimated them," he said. "We thought humans primitive, emotional, divided. And yet they united under fire," another alien replied. "They learned from every defeat, adapted to every weapon, and turned every atrocity into fuel." The room full of human admirals watched in silent horror as the aliens described humanity with the reverence one would reserve for a natural disaster. "Humanity is not a species," the alien commander whispered. "They are a force." Then the recording revealed the unthinkable. A map marking every human world, every colony, every migration route. The aliens had been tracking humans for thousands of years, and they had feared humanity enough to attempt extermination. Yet humans endured. They always endured. The hologram cut out as suddenly as it appeared, leaving High Command in frozen shock. Alarms blared across the building, signaling an internal breach. Someone was spreading the recording to every system in the Protectorate. Rhea smiled for the first time since her discovery. "Looks like the truth doesn't want to stay buried," she murmured. And the war recording continued to reveal everything. By morning, the entire Protectorate was on fire, figuratively at first, then literally in some cities. Billions had seen the recording, and the reaction was immediate, violent, unstoppable. Humans demanded answers, demanded the truth, demanded justice for the erased history of their ancestors. Protests swelled across planets, and colonies declared temporary independence until High Command explained why humanity had been lied to for centuries. Some people were terrified. Others were furious. But most felt something else. A sense of awakening, as if a missing piece of their identity had finally been returned. News nets played the alien voices on loop. "We underestimated them. They united under fire. They are not a species, they are a force." These lines became rallying cries across the galaxy. Humanity felt seen, not as weak newcomers, but as survivors of a cosmic genocide attempt. But the galaxy beyond human space reacted even more dramatically. Within hours of the recording going public, the Threx Union closed its borders. The Zydari Syndicate evacuated its ambassadors from human territory, and the Eoral Dominion placed its entire fleet on alert. The reason became clear when new messages leaked. Alien governments had known fragments of the old war, too. Not the whole truth, but enough to fear what would happen if humanity remembered. Some alien leaders urged peace. Others demanded preemptive action. But all agreed on one thing: humanity would never be the same species again. Meanwhile, Rhea Solis found herself at the center of a storm. She couldn't step outside without crowds chanting her name. Some hailed her as a hero. Others blamed her for the chaos. High Command denounced her publicly, but their authority was collapsing by the hour. Seeking answers of her own, Rhea met a group calling themselves the Archivists. They were historians, rogue scientists, and dissidents who had spent decades hunting forbidden fragments of humanity's hidden past. They believed the old war was only the beginning. "There was more than one enemy," said Dr. Kellan Harth, their leader. "There were alliances, betrayals, betrayals of betrayals. And a final secret humanity has yet to uncover." He handed Rhea a data core, far larger than the one she had found. This was recovered from a derelict station outside mapped space. It contains the rest of the war recording. Ria's hands trembled as she activated the device. A hologram sparked to life, showing human fleets, massive, coordinated, far beyond modern technology, charging into battle against enemies that shook the stars themselves. But the last image froze Ria's breath. A message from a human commander of the old war, staring directly into the camera as if speaking to the future. "To our descendants," he said, "if you are seeing this, then the cycle begins anew." The war recording had revealed everything, but it was about to reveal even more. The ancient commander's hologram continued, the image flickering but the voice steady. "My name is Marshal Arden Vale of the 1st Terran Exodus Fleet," he said. "I speak to those who come after, for we did not fight for survival alone, we fought for you." Ria and the archivists leaned in, breath held. The commander gestured to the stars behind him, hundreds of them highlighted in red. "These are strongholds of the Ascended Dominion," he said, "the empire that sought our extinction." He explained that humanity had once spanned dozens of worlds, advanced far beyond modern capabilities. The Dominion attacked without provocation, seeking to wipe out any species that showed potential to rival them. Humanity resisted with everything it had. But even then, the Dominion's fleets were overwhelming. "We discovered something," the commander continued, "a weakness in the Dominion's control network. To exploit it, we made a choice. To divide humanity." That phrase struck Ria like a physical blow. The archivists exchanged stunned glances. Marshal Arden Vale went on. "We deployed our greatest secret weapon, Project Remnant. A fleet carrying millions of our people, scattered across remote star systems, their memories suppressed, their history erased. It was the only way to ensure our species survived." Ria felt dizzy. Humanity had not forgotten its history by accident. They had erased it themselves. To hide from a predator powerful enough to hunt them across the galaxy. But the Dominion was not destroyed, the commander warned, only wounded. "And they will return." Ria swallowed hard, the implications crashing over her like a tidal wave. Humanity wasn't just rediscovering its past, it was waking up from a strategic self-induced amnesia. The enemy who had nearly erased them still existed, still hunted, still waited. The hologram zoomed out, displaying a star map that matched no modern records. "These coordinates," the commander said, "lead to the Vault of Origin. Within it lie the weapons, technology, and truths you will need to finish the war we began." He leaned closer, his voice dropping to a near whisper. "And know this, your awakening is no accident. The Dominion watches the stars for your return. But you must reach the vault before they do." The hologram ended, leaving the room drowning in silence. Ria's heart hammered like a war drum. The archivist stared at her, waiting for her reaction. "There's more," Dr. Harth said quietly. "The message contains embedded coordinates, encrypted." Ria straightened, her resolve turning to steel. "Then we decode it," she said. "We find the vault. And we finish what our ancestors started." But before they could begin, the building shook violently. An explosion echoed through the lower levels, followed by alarms blaring across the city. Ria grabbed her rifle as the lights flickered red. "What was that?" she shouted. A panicked archivist rushed in, eyes wide with terror. "They found us," he gasped, "not the government. Something else." Ria's blood ran cold. The Dominion hadn't waited centuries to make their move. They were already here. And the war recording had revealed their return. The walls trembled again as another blast shook the archivist facility. Dust rained from the ceiling and sparks burst from shattered conduits. Screams echoed from the lower levels as unknown forces breached the perimeter. Rhea pulled the archivists behind cover, her instincts screaming that the battle outside was only the beginning. The enemy came into view, tall, angular figures in obsidian armor, their limbs jointed in ways no human body could mimic. Eyes glowing like molten glass. Dominion vanguard troops. The very soldiers who had hunted humanity centuries ago, now walking again on human soil. They shouldn't be here, Dr. Hearth whispered. Their empire collapsed millennia ago. Looks like they didn't get the memo, Rhea said as she fired into the advancing line. The archivists fled through the evacuation tunnels while Rhea covered them, her rifle burning hot in her hands. The Dominion soldiers moved with inhuman precision. They spoke in a language Rhea didn't understand until her translator struggled through the distortion. "Retrieve the recording," one of them commanded. "The cycle must not restart." But the cycle had restarted. Humanity had seen the truth, and the Dominion had come to bury it again with fire and blood. Rhea and the surviving archivists reached the final blast door, sealing it behind them just as the Dominion breached the room they'd been in moments before. Alarms howled through the hidden tunnels as they raced toward their ship, a retrofitted science vessel called the Helios Dawn. "We have the coordinates from the message," Dr. Hearth said, clutching the data core, "not fully decrypted, but enough to guide us." "Good," Rhea said, strapping into the pilot's seat, "because we've got company." The Helios Dawn blasted through the hangar shield as Dominion fighters descended from orbit. Human defense cannons lit the sky, but they were firing blindly, confused by conflicting orders from high command. Humanity was not ready for war. Not yet. But the war had come regardless. As the ship broke atmosphere, Rhea saw a sight she would never forget. Dominion dreadnoughts materializing from warped space, blotting out the stars as they formed a blockade around the planet. The first bombardment beams tore across the horizon, lighting entire cities on fire. Humanity's awakening had been noticed, and the Dominion had answered with war. Rhea whispered a promise into the darkness. "We will finish what our ancestors started." The Helios Dawn jumped to FTL just seconds before a Dominion beam sliced through the space it occupied. Behind them, the Protectorate burned. Ahead of them lay the Vault of Origin, the key to humanity's forgotten power. And the recording that had revealed everything had now ignited a war that would decide the future of the galaxy. Rhea tightened her grip on the controls, eyes blazing with determination. "The Dominion thinks they can finish us," she said. "Let them try." Because humanity had remembered. Humanity had awakened. And nothing in the galaxy was more dangerous than a human who knew the truth.